The Book of Disquiet by Fernando Pêssoa, Section 184. Before summer ends and autumn arrives, in the warm interim, when the air weighs heavy and the colors dim, the late afternoons wear an almost tangible robe of imitation glory. They're comparable to those tricks of the imagination, when it makes nostalgia out of nothing, and they go on indefinitely, like the wakes of ships that form never-ending snakes. These late afternoons fill me, like a sea at high tide, with a feeling worse than tedium, but for which there's no other name. It's a feeling of desolation I'm unable to pinpoint, a shipwreck of my entire soul. I feel as if I'd lost a benevolent God, as if the substance of everything had died, and the physical universe is like a corpse that I loved when it was life, but it has all dissolved to nothing in the still warm light of the last colored clouds. My tedium takes on an air of horror, and my boredom is of fear. My sweat isn't cold, but my awareness of it is. I'm not physically ill, but my soul's anxiety is so intense that it passes through my pores and chills my body. So great is this tedium, so sovereign my horror of being alive, that I can't conceive of anything that might serve as a palliative, antidote, balsam, or distraction for it. Sleeping horrifies me the way everything does. Dying is as horrifying as everything else. Going and stopping are the same impossible thing. Hope and doubt are equally cold and grey. I'm a shelf of empty jars. And yet, what nostalgia for the future. If I let my ordinary eyes receive the dead salutation of the declining day. How grand is hope's burial, advancing in the still golden hush of the stagnant skies. What a procession of voids and nothings extends over the reddish blue that will pale in the vast expanses of crystalline space. I don't know what I want or don't want. I've stopped wanting, stopped knowing how to want, stopped knowing the emotions or thoughts by which people generally recognize that they want something or want to want it. I don't know who I am or what I am. Like someone buried under a collapsed wall, I lie under the toppled vacuity of the entire universe. And so, I go on, in the wake of myself, until the night sets in, and a little of the comfort of being different wafts like a breeze over my incipient self-unawareness. The high and larger moon of these placid nights, torpid with anguish and disquiet. Sinister peace of the heaven's beauty, cold irony of the warm air, blue blackness misted by moonlight and reticent to reveal stars. Section 185. Interlude. This dreadful hour when I shrink to being possible or rise to mortality. If only the morning wouldn't dawn. If only I in this alcove and its interior atmosphere where I belong could all be spiritualized into night. Absolutized into darkness, so that not so much as a shadow of me would remain that could taint with my memory whatever lived on. Section 186. Would to the gods, sad heart of mine, that fate had a meaning. Would to fate, rather, that the gods had one. Sometimes when I wake up at night, I feel invisible hands weaving my destiny. Here lies my life. Nothing in me disturbs a thing. Section 187. My life's central tragedy is, like all tragedies, an irony of fate. I reject real life for being a condemnation. I reject dreaming for being an easy way out. But my real life couldn't be more banal and contemptible. And my dream life couldn't be more constant and intense. I'm like a slave who gets drunk during siesta. 2 degradations in one body. Yes, I distinctly see, with the clarity of reason when it flashes in the blackness of life and isolates the objects around us that make it up, all that is shoddy, worn out, neglected, and spurious in this street called Duradores, which is my entire life. This office that's sordid down to the marrow of its employees. This monthly rented room where nothing transpires but a dead man's life. This corner grocery whose owner I know and the way people know each other. These young men at the door of the old tavern. This toilsome uselessness of the unchanging days. These same characters repeating their same old lines like a drama consisting only of secrecy. And with the scenery turned inside out. But I also realize that to flee this would mean to overcome it or repudiate it. And I'll never overcome it. Because I don't go beyond it in reality. And I'll never repudiate it because no matter what I dream, I always remain where I am. And my dreaming, the disgrace of escaping into myself, the cowardice of reducing my life to that refuse of the soul which others experience only in their sleep, in the posture of death as they snore, in that stillness when they look like highly developed vegetables. I can't make one noble gesture that's not confined to my own soul, nor have one useless desire that's not truly, utterly useless. Caesar aptly defined what ambition is all about when he said, "Better to be first in the village than second in Rome." I'm nothing in the village and nothing in any Rome. The corner grocer is at least respected from the Rua de Asuncao to the Rua de Vitoria. He's the Caesar of a square city block. Me superior to him? In what? If nothingness admits neither superiority nor inferiority, nor even comparison. He is Caesar of an entire square block, and it's only right that all the women like him. And so, I drag myself to do what I don't want, and to dream what I can't have. My life, as meaningless as a broken public clock. My hazy but constant sensibility, and my long but conscious dream square, which together form my privilege of life in the shadows.